Good morning, everyone. I forgot to turn everything off and turn everything on and do it all together. Every so often, I wake up and think, what the heck am I doing here? Do you ever have those days? There's so much going on right now. And I think we're all feeling this, right? That seems so ridiculous. Like, hugely ridiculous. But after I calmed down, took a deep cleansing breath, I realized all of these situations, all of these things happening all around us can actually be a lot of fun to look at. Once you get to the point, it doesn't truly affect you. Do you know what I mean? So, stop believing the lies. And the first lie, the most important lie perhaps, is what you are. Not a biological machine. You are not an advanced piece of slime. You are an infinite being that has the right to choose to have life, to live abundantly for thousands of years and have contact with advanced civilizations and all the beings right back to the beginning of time. It's the beginning of time, I guess, that has been really on my mind the last little while, because I was looking at CERN, and after I stopped laughing, which took a while, there's this movie. It's on my page, turtleislandnews.info. As a matter of fact, good morning, everybody. I just kind of jumped right in there. You know how I roll, the kind of Aries, ramming in. Head first, jumping in. We'll find out if there's water later. And good morning, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Studio A. Good morning, everybody. I will be jumping around in the chat rooms, but it's going to take me a bit. Slow internets today. And good morning, Awake Radio. Wave to y'all. And of course, people. For the people. And who am I forgetting? Oh, well, Spirit Radio. So what's going on here? Although there's several things. Currency. Current. Which is all about positioning. So I thought I'd give you a preamble today, because we are going to be learning something deeply from our university inside. Current and currency. All the reverse monetary karma, while discovering the connection between current and currency. 2. Internal cleansing, purification, all the techniques on cleansing, flushing the body of toxin, while clearing your organic filters. Next, celestial mechanics, determining the astronomic correspondences of the body and how they function together. Deprogramming. We will recognize and disarm all of the MK Ultra mind control programming that is in your conscious and your subconscious and other places in your body. Planetary hierarchy. We will identify all the different types of forms, their overall scope, and their purpose here. Breathing and energetics. we will really quickly learn vivid, effective, easy breathing techniques that have been kept secret over the years. They don't really need to be doing all the things they're doing. Let's be honest about that. People are dying left, right, and center right now. We don't know how to breathe. We don't know how to speak. We think things are just so impossible for us. But we'll get to that. Nutritional therapy, how to harness your own energy, Tantra, which they have manipulated so much. We will master our own energies and learn how to cultivate our own prana, our chi, if you will, and how we can do DNA transformation by just altering your immediate environment. And again, language and encryption or perhaps decryption, because we will decipher the code in English and in numbers while learning how to track their frequency. I know it sounds like a lot, but we are not weak of heart. We are not faint, are we? We've had some really strange things happen in the last 24 hours. You know, Canadian court ordered a tobacco company to pay billions of dollars in damages in Quebec. They've ordered the three big ones, to shell out billions of dollars in damages in a pair of class action lawsuits. Now, the plaintiffs in the case allege the companies didn't do enough to warn customers about the dangers of smoking, engaged in unscrupulous marketing, destroyed documents, according to the CBC. Now, the Superior Court judge ruled that all three of Canada's legal tobacco manufacturers, Imperial Tobacco, Rothmans, Benson and Hedges, and JTI McDonald, must pay $15 billion. $12 billion US, because our money is blowing in the wind right now. Our currency is suddenly taking a shift to the, oh my God, we're falling off the boat thing. Now, in exchange, the plaintiffs with cancer who began smoking before January 1976 will get $100,000 each. Those who started smoking after that date are entitled to $90,000. Now, according to the ruling, tens of thousands of dollars in so-called moral damages would also have to be paid, especially with people with emphysema. Now, the decision comes as a result of two class action lawsuits that began in 1998. One by a group of people who became seriously ill from smoking, and one by a group who were unable to quit smoking, which I thought, there's no way, nothing's going to happen. So anyway, lawyer for the plaintiffs told reporters Monday that tobacco companies had lied for 50 years. This we know. Not only are there dangerous chemicals in that do cause addiction, because tobacco on its own does not. As a matter of fact, it's healthy. It's not harmful. So they lied to us, and not only that, the packaging, I think, is a bit of an esoteric spell. It's why I've had such a hard time quitting smoking, but I think, well, we're going to do it together. You're going to see how I do. This time forever. Quitting it forever. Smoked my last one last night because I found a way to help with the pain. Pain is an issue for me. Anything still kind of triggers the pain sense organ, which may be, well, it's complicated, but we'll get into it. So I'm going to help with that too, because I'm sure most of us are going through different kinds of pain. And we know that they've lied to us. Pharmaceuticals is about lying to us. It's the biggest rip-off ever, right? So tobacco companies slammed the ruling, said they planned to appeal, argued that customers were well aware of the risks of smoking, weren't entitled to any damages, but the cases are fought them over. In today's judgment, ignores the reality that both adult consumers and governments have known the risks associated with smoking for decades, and seeks to reveal that adult consumers of any, well, I guess relieve us of any responsibility. Interesting. Maybe they want to tie up the courts for years. Maybe they want to keep this going and this ball rolling so the people will be dead before they can actually collect any money. You know, around 60 years ago-ish, maybe a little bit before, something happened here. Something happened here that was the change for the new structure of this planet. Perhaps an ancient structure as well, because I saw this movie, and it is on TruthLineNews.info and on my Facebook page. It's funny because some people are having a hard time even seeing it. Maybe I have magic powers, guys. I'm starting to be convinced of that, because apparently I can open some stuff that no one else can open. So, this movie called Particle Fever that you need to watch. So I'm watching this and I'm watching these big-headed scientists looking at this tiny, tiny little monotone screen. It's got one color. They have billions of dollars to make this thing that smashes. You know, really, I could have bought them a hammer and some nails, and they could have gone outside and just smashed the crap out of something and had a good time. Maybe, I don't know, we'll get them a couple nails. Okay. But they're all excited and they're dancing around, and I went, oh my God, what are these beings? And I thought, I have become death, destroyer of worlds, which will lead us to further conversations, because we're going to have to go back to the Vedic texts, because we are reliving a timeline right now. Not the first time, not the last time. Hence the word reliving, right? Everything in this existence that is physical, from a blade of grass to a butterfly to us, is caught in a time loop. The serpent with its tail in its mouth. Something happened in Persia, in the Persian Empire, that changed everything. There was a time, I can't even tell you how long ago it was, that we were powerful. You know, all you have to do is look at, and there's all kinds of them on YouTube, look at a video of people from conception, fertilization, inception to birth. Watch it. Really give some thought to it. You will see everything that's ever been here. Everything that could be. Probably even our future on that. We're talking about methods for conscious immortality. Forever. We absolutely have that right. We absolutely could change all this. What do I think happened? Well, I'm not going to the books, because the books are just cubes, and that's why they're squares and rectangles for a reason. They're all about Saturn, again, the god El. We're always given two choices here. Red or blue, kind of. Think of all the superheroes that are red or blue. We are told there is one God, and you can't be that good. You could never achieve that greatness. They put the undefinable being so far above you, he's like a superhero or something. It's again hierarchy that you were told you can never achieve. Is that the God the scientists at CERN are looking for? They want to find the particle of life, the particle of the field, the boson particle, the bosonic field. I think they found the moron particle, the moronic field myself, because I have never seen so many big-headed men, supposed to be the best we got here on this planet, have such an epic fail, which I'm expecting in, if not tomorrow, then soon. So you're probably wondering why, Tracey, there's all these things going on the planet, and the smashing and the volcanoes and everything. Which I feel, yeah, I'm with you. I feel those. But, okay. We go back to Persia, the Persian Empire, which may have been worldwide, with the one religion that looked like some sort of combination. It's hard to find out what happened before other than some of the images. And images you can find on my page, and I'll put more. All of a sudden, there was the gray. The big-headed alien thing. Spindly arms, spindly legs, looks like a fetus. Gray. It's never seen sun. It has almost no emotion. It has a tiny little mouth. It looks like a fetus. I've always said that. So what is the difference between that and, say, us? Quite a bit. Quite a bit, I think, because it came here and taught us certain things. I'm not even sure we lived in the kind of communities we have. I do not think we had a language such as this, and suddenly the Tower of Babel needed to be destroyed because one God, the one God, did not want us to what? Communicate with everything? I put up a video yesterday of this beautiful Black Panther, who they call Diablo, Diabolo as a matter of fact, and changed his name to Spirit. Because a woman who had found a place in her heart so she could, I can't say 100% if the cat knew the language, but the cat felt the feeling. And then you can see people around this cat, not only, and again, I don't know if they knew the magic words, but they were communicating with this cat, and the cat was communicating back. You see tears in a grown man's eyes. You see the melting of harshness from both the cat and the animal. This is why I think Tower of Babel came down. Because there was a time before the one God that we knew our power. That our words did not come back void. What does that mean? It means that when we said something, it appeared. This was way before lying. This is way before sarcasm. This is way before fuzzy logic. Our words could not be fuzzy. They had to be precise. We had to say the right thing. We had to be perfect. So in a world that has changed so drastically, where we are living a repeating time loop, where things that should not be done and should not be said, I've heard people and had people argue with me, Tracey, freedom of speech. People have the right to say what they're thinking. No, people do not have that right. You do not have the right to be an a-hole because you feel like it. You don't. You don't have the right to be mean because you feel it. The worst thing they did to our people is tell us we have the right to say anything we want. This is the do what thou wilt. This is the Aleister Crowley who set up what's about to occur, what is occurring. So now when I say recurring timelines, the things never stop. They never go away. It's the as above, so below that they have drilled into our heads with their little fake books and their little fake religions and their little one God fakeness. That you will always have to look outside to find truth. There are some absolutes here on this planet that we can still get to. Black and white. I know when I say that you think of colors, colored people. We are the humans. We are not the gray. We actually, color, shades of our skin have way more variance than even the sexes, the male and female, the life and death. If I asked you your 2 favorite days of the week, when your days where you feel freest, most people pick Friday and Saturday. Myself, I pick Sunday, but I'm in the 5% who just does, and I don't know why that is. It's just we do that. So, what is Friday? We're done work, right? We go out, we party, dance it up. Have you noticed people who are still going out? Saturday feels different. It's almost a fatalistic day. Now why would that be? Friday. Well, this is Venus. So this is life. Venus represents life. Venus kind of represents what we're doing to the planet, and we may have to learn how to breathe carbon dioxide, but that's not a big problem. Surprisingly enough, it really isn't. Saturday, again, sat, Seth, death, life or death, black or white. It's why there's always a checkerboard in just about any kind of TV show that's supposed to be esoteric. It's why they have it. It's why they have it in Rosicrucian, which is hilarious. I was looking at some of their symbols. It's just voodoo. And you guys draw funny. But anyway. Masonic lodges. So you're looking at the floor. Here's how to work that magic. You look at the white, you look at the black, until you see the space in between. You can do it with your own face by just looking at your eyes. You have to look a little bit cross-eyed so that your right eye is looking into your left eye. You can only do it for a couple minutes. And prepare yourself if you want to give this a shot. So, the space between the colors and the gray alien. Where is he from? Here. That entity taught us some things. And we will go through the Vedic text because it's one of the last remaining truths, I think. And then we will go back to Enoch, who basically tells you the same story. But, okay. They are us. In one possible future where we have destroyed this planet so much that we are no longer able to produce, that we have killed our emotions, we have gone into the entire flat earth, the circle in the middle, become from the David, the AI. That's what it means. One possible future, and know that there are multitudes of futures going on at all times. It sounds weird, right? So what's CERN doing? What does it have to do with the grays? CERN has made, if you look at the images, and please, if you get a chance, watch that movie. They show you what CERN looks like. The triple darkness. The square within a square within a square. They're showing you it's a great big vagina. Basically, it's a womb. They are trying to contact God. They would need a womb. They have all these cords going to it. This is the story of the silver cord. What is the silver cord? You were talking to one of the motherships. I've had a child. The silver cord, which you keep your entire life in an esoteric way. We have to realize that we should not look with our human eyes at everything. Just because something's been cut does not mean it's gone. And we can show thousands of stories where people get their arm cut off, but you can still use that phantom limb. You certainly can feel it. It's like that. Women are the mothership. Why would they build a machine that could do surprisingly what a man and woman could do all day long if we felt like it? We still have some men here, you know. We have girls here who still like men. There are men and women who like each other. We could do this thing. We could create. So that's what they're doing. The only way to contact what they're trying to contact is a mechanical God. They will never contact what we came from, the triple darkness, because we still could contact you. You'd think these guys who spent billions of dollars to make the biggest, the most expensive thing we've ever made, they had hundreds of thousands of guys make these little tiny things with a bunch of magnets and set this up and bring out Shiva in her dance, his dance actually, of death. I have become death, destroyer of worlds, which Oppenheimer said. It's because we are reliving these timelines over and over and over and over again. We cannot make God. We don't need to. And next comes the blasphemy section of my show. Because we are God. We are everything that's ever been. when the unbegotten, best name I can point to, sprayed out the seed, the Big Bang, and throughout this multiverse, these layered at least seven anyway, layered realities, every potential life form was already in the mix. Already. Do you want to see the as above, so below thing? Okay, old story. And of course, I'm going to be saying it in just Tracey term. These little grays taught the elites at one time how to take the vortex energy, place it in the center of a city. A city just means power. It's a Vedic word for power. Place it in the center of a city, then you call that center downtown. And then you have an avenue, something called, Central Avenue, which connects the vortices. And then you get a big, tall, hard obelisk, and you stamp that sucker down in the ground. Then the obelisk sprays out the program that town will be involved in. That's how it's done. That's what we were taught. That's what the stories say. Of course, Tracey version. And as for the big and hard, well, it's a rock. They're big and hard. What am I going to say? The Big Bang is sex. This is a sexual thing. You can't build that. We could make that. You can train your own body to expel oxytocin, and it's more than orgasmic. It will save you. It will literally take away pain, make you feel not just the stuff that you get from going to a bar or watching the peelers do that's the cooch for you. You fall in love. You can get it by eating chocolate, but they found out a long time ago that you can hum a frequency, play a frequency. You can find these things on the net to actually manifest that. Maybe not physically, that's probably will take some while, but you can get that taste in your mouth if you really throw your emotions into it. I think a lot of our power has to do with emotion, especially if you've learned the oxytocin trick. Give you a little hint. If you're a woman, it'll be easy peasy for you. If you've ever breastfed, remember that feeling. Bang, you can pull that back. So you go from that feeling to deciding you want something. You can look up online too, write frequencies, play the frequency for a piece of chocolate or an apple pie or a cake. There is zero reason that a perfected being would need to consume. Why would we need anything to live? That makes no sense. That is the biggest lie that we've been fed, I think. The biggest. That we need medicine? No. We are part of the infinite creation here. We don't need anything that these idiots have to offer. So they found the moronic field. Yippee-ki-yay. And I found an idiot. I guess. They make me laugh so much, What the biggest mystery I think about us is there's a genetic life form here that can't be classified as an animal or a bacteria or a virus. And it composes 95% of the human genome. And our scientists have nothing. They have no idea. There are so many mysteries in our bodies that these guys who think they're smart enough or strong enough to build something that could smash up the universe, it could if they understood even their own physics. What that gray is just a macro. We have micro, we have macro. It is a macrobial entity that was sprayed out from the beginning, the Big Bang, the sexual feeling that created everything. It's sex. It's obvious. You don't need to make a machine for that. And if you do, go to realdoll.com and just enjoy yourself. What these guys miss, and why I think their fail is about to be epic, is essence. If they could have made a mechanical race that would take over everything, they'd have already done it. We know in this timeline, and I'm pretty sure there's been several, in this timeline we already had robots. Very, very good ones. You can see all kinds of YouTubes on that. We've had them. We could have gone much farther than this. I think they tried and failed, or tried and died. One of the two. You can't do this. There must be life. So, why do it? Why do what they're doing? It's because of the new superimposed hierarchy that's going on now. So, first, there's the masses. We go to work to receive income. You'd think we'd get outcome for putting in our energy. So, the frequency is low, and it's funny because there's way more of us. Or people with this kind of currency. All the people are the same, a-hole or not. We're family, and it makes a difference, So, the majority of the people, there's probably 1% of the 1% of the oligarchs that are really know everything, and they do. But most of us sit here going, we have no clue of what's going on. We're guessing. But the more you find out, and the more it doesn't directly involve you, the more actually kind of cool, funny it is. So, next you have the small business owner. He's got to work all day and all night, hoping that he wins the lotto and somehow becomes a big company. But he usually burns himself out and dies at his desk. We don't even make it to the desk. We just usually, some of us are still the robots. Yes, master. No, master. Do I stand here? Do I stand there? Zombies, if you will. But the majority of us think that we are weak and we are helpless and we die. Quick. Okay, so then entrepreneurs, all day and all night they're working. And then they die. Next level up. Next level up you have owners of big companies. They're doing pretty well. But, they're still, some of them work a little less than us, some of them work way more, and they usually burn out as well. Then you have a group of entertainers. I'm going to put them in one group because we're losing the technicians. We're losing the people who could put things together, take it apart. They're no longer needed. We have AI for that. Those jobs are on the way out. This one level I'm looking at that you can actually make some money in. Again, set up by Aleister Crowley. What do you have to do? Well, you could throw a ball really hard or catch it, but you're working all day and all night. The minute that you lose your skill, start drinking too much or get hooked, like the J Electronicas of the world, who reach a height and money if you have not learned these lessons. You get hooked, and then they take you, and you usually die. You do. So, the chance to be wealthy here. And they always say, you're lucky that you're not popular, that you're not really, out there really good. No, you could. You can. All you do, you need this knowledge. You need wise teaching so that you cannot be hooked, right? So we've got the guys who catch the ball or can punch really hard, who will probably get Alzheimer's by the time they're 40. Or, this is really run by Saturn, really in the time loop, because the younger one coming up will always overcome you. When your body starts failing, you're done. And you're usually drooling by the time. So you could sing, you could dance. Hey, there's millionaire strippers alive right now. So you can dance the cooch. The real oligarchs, they don't need your money. Money is fake. We know this. But they are sitting in a positioning. Again, current is positioning. So, after that we have the world leaders. World leader lies so much that he doesn't know what he's saying. And if he tries to step out of that box, they replace him. He works all day, he works all night, he has no free time. Free time is over. You do what you're told, when you're told. For God's sakes, do not let the teleprompter go out, because you better not step out of line, because you're done. You will be replaced. They go in young, they leave old. Again, really, really members of Satan, Seth, Saturn. In young, out old, they have no idea what's going on. They just do what they're told. Next level. The real oligarchs who know what's going on. Money is not important. It isn't. The more money you have, the more things are free. You'd be surprised. And if you've ever met someone super rich, the only thing they really need is to be entertained. This is where we're going. This is what has been set up by Aleister Crowley, OTO, the Golden Dawn. Everything you turn on the TV is a ritual designed, and again, the entertainers, the minstrels of today who can really make a lot of money. Even you can make this money dancing the cooch for a little while. For a little while. But again, 2 places set up. And I will try to say it without crashing my whole system this time. I think I've made a deal with Lucifer so he will not have a little tantrum about me saying this. So, we've got Hollywood. It's about spells and spell casting and witchery. And then we have Vegas. Vegas, who is a spot for one of the landing sites. Vegas, which is about the gray. The gray is just a hybrid. It's what we become when we are neither white nor black, or apparently can do much of anything. Luckily, we are not dancing the cooch for these things. I don't think they really need that kind of thing. I'm sorry, I have no other way to say it. So, this connects to Area 51. These are the stories that I've told you. These are the images that I've told you of these gray things. Do I think we have captured some? Captured? No. No. Not exactly. What has happened is they have come to teach us stuff, as they have come to teach us stuff before, because they are about a timeline that hopefully we never get to. The death of all of the people who work with their hands, we're not quite there yet. And we can see all the sprayed individual things going on, because nothing completely goes away, right? Evil. You would be surprised how hard it is for the majority of us to do evil. You can watch television and they can show you not kind of how to do a ritual, exactly, where, we'll look at this and we'll grab the knife, and very few of us would be able to stab that animal. Very few of us would be able to cut this. We will know it's so wrong. We'll start getting scared and say, no, I can't do it. But of course, some are doing it. Evil is being contacted and spread like a virus. And you may think it's really powerful, and it's taken over, perhaps. Well, the dark, as you say, has not completely taken over. There would be no water in our sinks and no food in our fridge. Whether CERN is going to bring on Armageddon, guys, there are most of this planet is living in Armageddon right now. Let's be honest. I am certainly not. And, hopefully I am entertaining enough that I make it through the next 10 years. And I don't mind entertaining you. Because if the rich guys, it's not even a matter of money. The oligarchs want to be entertained. They will make us want to entertain. So, evil, absolutely. Has it won? No. Not yet. There's still enough light out there. And we are the humans. We are many shades. We are not black. We are not white. We are not the gray, thank God. And I'm just saying God for most people know that the God program. And the oligarchs know you know the God program. Because they know that certain people who have studied certain religions will respond in a certain way. They know 100% that these people won't do anything, or these people will fight on cue, or these people will kill themselves on cue. They know this. the one God, the comic book character who looks like a centaur who, has been spending 24 hours a day in the gym. Oh, good God. And they know. And they've got you. That's why there's books or squares or rectangles. They've got you in a cube, and you're stuck in a box, and the majority of us won't get out. But as we talk about these things and look at these things, I want to bring a little bit more light to the darkness, show us how to get through it. So you're listening to Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy, and I'll be right back after this.
Traditionally have.
Welcome back, everyone. I thought I'd share some music with you. Hope you like that. And I'm going to wave to Mona. Somebody wave to Mona for me. So, no, I'm not stuck in the time loop. I am actually very, very clear today. But as the quitting smoking proceeds, there may be tears, there may be tantrums, so I'm just giving you the FYI. Strange things about our body. This one has always made me question certain things. It's pregnant women's super smell. Woman might realize she's pregnant simply by developing the heightened sense of smell. Why do we have that? This pregnancy superpower is actually rumored, but they don't know. They don't know why we have it. Supposedly it's so that if you sense danger through smell, and because smell is triggered, everything else is triggered as well, it tells you to get out of the way. I know it's weird. Next, unsolved mystery. Well, the strange biological dark matter is odd. Since it comprises 95% of the human genome, they have no idea what it is. I have a pretty good idea. Our ability to transform. We need to get control of that because they've had control for far too long. And before whatever you live around sprays you. And I have no other way. I have to say it, guys. It's a big freaking obelisk. And it's spraying out a program. It's creepy. Another mystery of our body is large boobs. I know it's weird. Other mammals. Every other mammal. Women's breasts are predominantly enlarged when they're not breastfeeding. Our breasts shouldn't be like this. Some scientists think big boobs mimic the swollen butts of our fertile monkey mind ancestors. But, scientists should probably try to shut the hell up more, because their ideas are really stupid. Okay, our body. No one knows why only 10% of the world's population is left-handed. Now, I may have to help the scientists who can't figure that out, because people were beaten so badly for using their left hand in Europe when Europeans were tortured into belief. Can't look at it any other way. So we are so out of balance. You would think a balanced world, 50-50, left-handed, right-handed. My mom was one of the people who was tortured into using a right hand. Lefties could, they think, be survivors of vanishing twin syndrome, outlining their mirror image siblings in the embryonic stage of pregnancy. But to me, no, it's not that complicated, boys. There should be half. Or we should be ambidextrous. There's no reason that we should use one hand over another. Another body hack. If you use the opposite hand that you use to write, train yourself to use it. It actually changes the triggers in your brain, gives you better balance, makes your body physically stronger, and actually makes you psychologically stronger. So, everybody, even draw little doodles with the other hand. Simple hack, easy peasy, costs you nothing. Sun sneezing. Now 1/3 of people sneeze when they look at bright lights. No idea why. They don't know a heck of a lot, really. But scientists think, oh no, they're thinking again, somebody call the police. They think there's a strange neurological mix-up between light stimuli and the sneezing reflex. They have no idea why. But have you done that? Looked at the sun and sneezed? No, they have no idea why. Next one. Dreaming. 25% of every night's sleep is spent dreaming. Scientists know why. Freud thought dreams symbolize sexual desires. Freud was a paid informant who raped a lot of his female clients, so his opinion means nothing to me. Apparently, now scientists think they have solved the problem through metaphoric thought. Dreams. Okay. Let me tell you something that the scientists won't tell you. Processing our body hack. We have been trained through school and many generations of biological torture, physiological torture, probably interbreeding and hybrid strangeness DNA. Anywho, we look at things so exact, right? We see an image of a lion from ancient times and think these people worship lions, when most likely there was a completely different reason. A lion could be strength, could be power, could be beauty, could be sound, could be nobility, could be living amongst the wild and overcoming. Very complicated, layered meaning, right? When we think of black or white, or male or female, now take this idea into a dream. And this is the easiest way so you can do your own dream interpretation. You can be your own fortune teller. I wanted to tell you that I will be offering to read fortunes again. Read your cards, if you want to call it fortunes, whatever you want to call it, whatever you feel comfortable with. I need to raise some money in the next little while. And again, all of these stations are listener supported, so if you can help, we love it. Of course. So I will be offering these readings, but I'm going to show you how to do it for yourself too in the next little while. So you take one card or an image from your dream. Say you dream about your mom and your mom's acting all crazy. That image has nothing to do with your mom. That means that your female side has an imbalance. You get me? Doesn't matter if you're male or female, that's what it says. If in your dream you see a chair What is a chair? Chair is a symbol for resting, stability, perhaps comfort. So, this is what dreams are. Dreams may be, dreams can be used 100% to heal yourself with a little training. As we've talked about before, dreams are the other part of our life. Again, the as above, so below. It's the mirror that you look into and you see the reflection. So, if you learn to control your dream, easily done. As a matter of fact, just a little training. Try and have a nap in the afternoon. Decide what you're going to listen to, what you want to see, and rest. Be still, be quiet, be spacious, and get used to that feeling, doing nothing. And just, if you start to think a thought, where a lot of us have repeating thoughts because we're all a little crazy. We're little Looney Tunes. So just see that, don't judge it, don't try not to think. Trying not to think is like the worst, because as soon as you try not to do something, your body makes you do it. You know what I mean? It's like, if you say to yourself, I am going to do 20 push-ups, at 10 you get tired. So next time, force yourself and say, I am going to do 100. You won't get tired till 50. There you are. It's a trick. You need to trick your mind. You need to start training your mind to overcome things. We haven't had this training. This is the training we should have from birth. Learning to read and write, ridiculous. So, anyway, dream interpretation. Know that what you're seeing is a symbol. It's why when we look at the stars and we hear the zodiac and your horoscope, it's symbolic. Representation. It is not supposed to be obvious. It is not supposed to be, well, she's a lion. No, you're not a lion. A lion is very complicated. You find out what one of those symbols really means something to you, because that's what's important. It's what the symbol means. If you're reading cards or if you're interpreting your own dreams, which you can absolutely do, you find the significance for you, the symbol of that. And the crazier the dream is, the more you need to look at that. Or you could use that time as a time of yoga or tantra, and decide what you're going to dream before that. Think of something easy, like a color. Colors can be the essence. You know, it's one of the reasons why there's always these team sports, the red versus blue, the Democrats versus Republicans, the male versus female. It's always the red and blue. Always. Red versus the blue. These are a primal thing. These are the essential things. You know what I mean? Life versus death, so Saturn and Venus. Friday and Saturday, male and female, white and black. We have to find the hues in between, because the hues, this is what we are. It's very important to realize what we are. We are what holds those things apart. Not being neither, but being both. We are the guardians of the gate. We are the bridge, especially the rainbow bridge. That is us. This is who we are. This is what we are doing, holding the white and the black, the life and the death. We are holding those separate. And as long as we realize what we're doing, we are the Eve angels. That's what we are. The only thing that they've really done is taught us that we are less than. that we need some God, that there's something greater than you. It's why all bad things have a good side. All good things have a bad side. And in every illness, in every poison is also the cure to that poison. So when you look at something, especially if it's harming you, especially if it's damaging you, hurting you in some way, get to know that thing. Be brave. We are lions. Yawning. Yawning has been studied for around 2,000 years. Since we scribbled on walls, we've been thinking deeply about this. It's been linked to everything from primitive communication to sexual arousal. Some antibiotics even cause people to orgasm when they yawn. Can you imagine? Yeah, so don't be running out, getting the flu on purpose. I don't know. But it's cool how we use the yawn. It's a way that we can signal to each other as a tribal group that we should go to sleep now. Or that one of us needs to take over the watch. Because we don't sleep the way we used to, We could wake up in the middle of the night and tell a joke because we had to be aware of what's around us. See, the connection is the most important thing about us. It doesn't matter if we're awake or asleep. We need to be aware. Wakefulness can happen when you're asleep. And yawning as a signal to the tribe. It shows me, it's one of the proofs for me, that we did a lot before we used words. That words are not necessary. That even when language started, the thing that slaughtered our people, because we built the Tower of Babel. Now we had the ability to communicate without any barriers. We at one point were magnificent, and everything they've done to us is to make us try and forget it. We have people now living through the apocalypse, dying, being killed, and the Hunger Games, you need to watch that again, because United States, you are District 1. And they are training you more and more and more, so there will be no other industry but death in the United States. The only thing you will export are death dealers, soldiers, who will be trained from birth to think the patriotic duty is to kill your brother. But they will not be your brother anymore because they are a different shade of skin or speak a different language. They would already trained you to hate. And I know people get mad at me for talking about it. And even Holy Walker said to me, so, where's the capital? I have to give that some thought. I'm pretty sure that the capital is Dubai, where the ultra-rich can have anything they want. They have waterfalls in their apartments, and the people running around that city that will never ever be able to afford to go in one of those rooms have almost no water. They built an island. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I hope to go one day. But, again, I have to get my currency charged enough. I don't want income, which is funny enough, to be given income. So, I have to find ways to charge myself. It's important for all of us to get that charge back. It is our worth. It is a sign of our worth. When we get enough currency, this is a real current, we become charged. Then when you get enough money, you will find money doesn't matter anymore. And it's why I say it's the Hunger Games, because the elite are bored to death. They want you to be able to catch that ball, jump really high until you blow out your knees or your arm, and then they will go on to the next thing. It's why they dressed them in fancy clothes when they were about to die. They wanted you to be pretty. They want to be entertained. This is where we're going if we continue on this timeline. And apparently I can't say great aliens from Vegas because my Sam broadcaster cut off again. I don't know what I did to the Greys, but they're apparently not loving the Tracey. Do you believe that? Anywho, next mystery. How can I talk about so many things that I talk about and can't say that? Isn't it funny? Oh my God. I'm not saying, well, it kind of looks like, right? Kind of looks like they don't want me to talk about them, so I may have to spend a whole entire show talking about them. You know another mystery? Science can't explain. Why does pain hurt? Uncomfortable. Universal. It's one of the first things we encounter in life. When the doctor abruptly yanks us away from our Wombly apartment, when we have gone from the essence of creation, been sprayed out to enter the mothership. That's mothership, by the way. We are the motherships. If you're a man, you too can enter the mothership. There are women who still like you. We do not have to build big, expensive, stupid toys. Let's bring them a hammer. Let's all, send some hammers over there. Here, hit this. Big, dumb-headed boys. Anywho. Pain will be one of the last things when we inevitably go out flailing, wailing, fiery aftermath of some tragic but glorious incident. What exactly is pain? Though, what is it? How does it work? Does it feel the same for you as it does for your a-hole neighbor? If you both hurt the same, isn't that a little bit unfair? Because he obviously deserves way more pain than you. If you have trouble coming up with answers to these questions, don't feel bad. Science can answer them. The eggheads that be, who study pain all day long, to researchers who design drugs to treat it, and to the doctors who prescribe them to you, none of them can even agree on a single definition of what the heck pain actually is. Perhaps the best way to demonstrate, look at this fibromyalgia, which used to be called the big sucky baby whiner disease because it was made up. This medical condition, best described as my ouch, everything hurts, There's no physical test to confirm whether you have it. There is no brain scan or blood test or spirit medium who can confirm this condition. So how can they diagnose it? Well, you fill out a questionnaire. Seriously. Do you have lots of unexplained pain in various random parts of your body that doctors can't figure out? Yes? Boom! Fibromyalgia. Or possibly demonic possession. Could be aliens. Especially the Greys. I don't know. But the FDA has approved drugs to treat fibromyalgia because they seem to help. No one knows why. Or even if it's an actual thing. We do not know if it's thing 1 or thing 2 or a combination of the unspoken thing in between, holding the things together. We have no idea. But this area of science fiction has come to life. Surely there's some kind of high-tech brain scan, special magic bead that can be used to determine if you're in pain. Indeed, doctors say there's differences in brain scans of people with fibromyalgia, but there's nothing consistent. Not from patient to patient, or person to person, or city to city, or country to country of people who just have this disease. No doctor can peek inside your skull theater and even say that you have the condition. Actually, no doctor can tell how much pain you're in, ever. Because we've only just recently taken the first tentative baby steps towards figuring out how to detect a pain in the first place. In a person's brain activity, of course. Now, according to an associate professor of psychology and neuroscience, and probable Star Wars character, his name is Thor Wagner. Yeah, I'm seeing him having a role in Star Wars. Anyway, right now, there is no clinically acceptable way to measure pain other than emotions. Or actually other emotions other than to ask a person, how do you feel? So, how are you feeling today? Aside from the general annoyance at the incoherent uncertainty of medical science and your body, and of course all of the universe, we mean, somewhere between oxycodone and I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Is it real? We feel it, right? We know what ouch means. What it is? No idea. Anesthesia. Another great mystery. Believe it or not. It's truly a miracle of science. But it's more than a little scary, when you think about it, because with a few random chemicals, these wizards of modern science effectively shut down big chunks of your brain. Too much, and you're going to die and never wake up. Not enough, you were living the past life as a Civil War soldier on receiving the end of a hacksaw surgery. But why do these chemicals work? How do they interact with your body in such a way as to achieve a delicate balance? The next part is the scariest part. They don't have an effing clue. We cannot even lend them the money to buy a clue. No frickin' idea. In fact, reading that someone counts as reading a sentence counts as 6 credit hours in anesthesiology. Seriously. So basically, anesthesia has evolved over the last couple 100 years, apparently. Although they did stuff before we found all these skulls with those holes in the head. You would think you would need something to painkiller you for that. But, they had cocaine. Anyway. Medical professor saying, here, pump some of this into that guy. Let's see how it goes. Still screaming? Okay, try some of this. All that trial and error has pretty much given us a clear picture of what we can use to achieve desired effects, namely anything from complex steroids to straight lungfuls of Exxon gas. But as to why these substances dim your little consciousness without flipping it off altogether and appending deceased to your name, there's no answer. Heck, they don't even know the effect. All the effects, anyway, on the same areas of the brain. So we're just going to wing it, I guess. Not a clue. Apparently, they need to stimulate each area of the brain individually to get a better understanding. Go find a fondue fork, somebody. Scientists say that the brain does not feel. You cannot feel pain in your brain, except the mass amount of chemical, biological, physical, electronical impulses seem to come from there. If pain is real, they should be able to touch certain parts of your brain and you feel it. If what they're saying is true and you don't feel it, pain is not real. And we are feeling something that we've been taught to feel. And then my infinite magic idea. That the only things that are happening to us are what we're doing to ourselves. And it's the main reason it's so hard to figure out how this actually alters our consciousness. It's that science doesn't know what consciousness is, how it works, and there's no definitive test to show whether someone is conscious even. The best anesthesiologists can do is look for a number of things, like the presence of certain brain waves, physical responses, and wait. Wait for sensitivity to pain. But as we've already discussed, science doesn't have a way to determine if you're in pain. So it's completely up to you to tell them if you're not quite anesthetized. I don't know. Enough? And if you get it wrong, don't worry. We'll have a few hours to think about how else you could have answered that while you're locked up inside your body, mentally screaming as mass strangers cut you apart. No pressure, though. Laughter. Some theorize it's a signal that a suspected threat doesn't actually pose a real danger. Some suppose it's a reaction to result being different than what we expected. Others believe it's because Jim Carrey is talking with his butt again, and that's not normally how one speaks. They're all sorts. Well, they're at least all sort of, kind of correct, right? Because nobody knows for certain why we laugh. We do know, however, that more than other emotional responses, laughter affects all kinds of frickin' things in infamous unknown brain pan area again. And even motor sensations. And more surprisingly though, the fact that most of our laughter isn't related to even comedy. Studies have shown that less than 20% of laughter happens as a result of something being funny. Far more often we're laughing to punctuate some innocuous statement, to fill pauses in conversation, or because our elaborate evil plan is finally coming to fruition. So the evil, wicked laugh, like, like why do in comics, Aleister Crowley is probably behind that too. What is the evil, wicked laugh for? I don't know, but usually they're about to tell you what their wicked plan is, or try to kill you in some stupid, ridiculously elaborate way. But anyway, one thing we do, sort of, kinda, a little bit, know is that laughter, well, where it started. It evolved from panting that primates do during hardcore tickle sessions. And they actually have it. This, of course, leads to the inevitable question, but why are we ticklish in the first place? Which leads to the inevitable answer, yeah, we got nothing for that too. We don't know why you're ticklish. We don't have a clue. Okay. More mysteries. Barb's sister tried to kill her with tickling. Oh my God, I have a cousin that tried to torture me to death with tickling. But apparently you can't be ticklish because it makes no frickin' sense, so stop laughing. It's not even funny. One of the biggest science mysteries, too, about the human race. Why are we nice to each other? That's what they said. They think that's a mystery. I think it's because we are not naturally said phallus structure. Insert bad word there. That the mother creates us, that we have to learn hate and anger and fear. We have to be taught these things. So we are not naturally the big penis-shaped hard stone thing. But, how much sense does it make? Apparently, at one point, we were all hunter-gatherers when survival was all that mattered, right? So if you found a tiered layer cake sitting in the middle of the forest, sharing said cake with fellow humans would have run directly contrary to your own survival instincts. Well, first of all, it's sweet, said layered cake. No, I'm just giving an example. It could be anything we found out there. But if we found a sweet thing, immediately our immune systems would be knocked down. But we're not. You better get away from my cake. What? Anyway. That is my god-darn cake. And I will bite the faces off all who seek to swipe its frosting with their thieving, nasty little fingers. Genuine selfless acts of kindness should have been straight up disinvitations. Those humans who looked out for number one should have survived past their jerkwad genes, while altruism should have been stamped out completely. with other evolutionary dead ends like, I don't know, tails and gills, and enjoying comic performances of Robert De Niro. So why did it even survive? Science says, drumroll please, we got nothing. Scientists have been trying to unlock the secret of our lack of apparent natural tendencies towards the phallus for a better part of the century. In the 60s, George Prince even devised a complex mathematical equation to try to figure out how much altruism could actually survive when it seems to be so advantageous to survival itself. Price became so consumed by his research that he started seeking out needy strangers, inviting them to live in his apartment while he locked himself away from his office to obsess over this idea. Ultimately, when he felt that he had nothing left to give others, Price killed himself with a pair of freaking scissors. So instead of locking the great secret to our lack of dickness, Price's equation unlocked the puzzle from the box of Hellraiser. Again, left-handedness is made up twice, and I don't think it's any kind of thing to do with an overall percentage of subhuman Morlock freak witch people, because I think this genetic trait, even the means of the genes responsible for it, must be advantage. Scientists, of course, are yet again unclear, however, what an advantage might have been where, once again, somebody give them my number. We have two hands. We should be using them both. The fact that we can't use them both equally means there is a frickin' problem. You know? Big head scientists. But not that the Morlock freak witch people is not interesting. So, looking beyond left-handedness, the fact we have a dominant hand at all is the mystery to me. Heck, while we're at it, the overall asymmetry of the human anatomy is something that keeps guys in lab coats scratching their heads. Our hearts lean to one side at a 23-degree angle. Our lungs are built differently from one to the other. Lefty hangs a little lower than righty, if you know. While this phenomenon has been observed in great apes as well, the human brain is where it's most noticeable. Our brains are wildly, freakishly asymmetrical. And some scientists believe that this asymmetry could very well be the defining trait that makes us human and a little crazy. That and the ability for us to talk with our butts, which, is always a little funny. Right? Yeah, stop laughing. It makes no sense. Okay. So we have that, and we have a lurker that is hid quietly in our genome for a long time. In the mid-200s, a scientist at the University of Michigan and his colleagues took a look at the blood of people infected with HIV. These viruses kill their hosts by basically exhausting the immune system. Maybe a trigger of all autoimmune diseases, right? Allowing all sorts of pathogens to sweep into the host body. So it wasn't a huge surprise when these scientists found other viruses in the blood of these HIV patients. What is surprising to them was that there were other viruses that they couldn't explain, but it was actually within a person's own DNA. So you come equipped with these things, right? HIV belongs to a class called retroviruses. Not kind of like the disco light era of viruses. You know, we're all wearing long bell-bottom pants. Or 80s retrovirus, where we could have big hair again and be spraying ourselves with the neurotoxin. I had really big hair. I did. And incredibly awesome shoes. The 80s rocked because of shoes and dancing. Anywho, HIV guys all share 3 genes in common. One is called GAG, which is funny because the HIV was first spread with gay men because, well, somebody didn't like them. Hey, I'm not making these names up. Anyway, gives rise to the inner shell where the virus's genes are stored. Another called ENV, E-N-V, makes snobs on the outer surface of the virus, which allows it to latch onto cells and invade them. And a third, called POL, P-O-L, makes an enzyme that inserts a virus genes into its host cell's DNA. So it turns out that the human genome contains segments of DNA that match POL and GAG. Lots of them. Now, scientists have identified 100,000 pieces of retrovirus in our DNA, in our genes, making up another 8% of the human genome. That's a pretty big portion of our DNA when you consider that protein coding genes make up only 1% of the entire genome anyway. So scientists have studied these so-called endogenous, that's what they call it, retroviruses. So back when we were one being, the androgyny that was created first, because there has to be the one. We have to be able to get back to the one, and before that, the source. We too are the unbegotten, and we came here carrying a whole bunch of friggin' stuff anyway. So scientists said all the evidence points to the same scenario for how genetically merged we are. Our ancestors were infected with a retrovirus on a regular basis, or on a rare occasion a virus infected a sperm or an egg and managed to end up in the embryo. So each new cell in the embryo inherited a retrovirus DNA implanted into its genome. Or my alien infecting by opening the veil and shooting out, and the things that we're still being shot with. We're being sprayed with stuff all the time. I know it sounds a little gross. I'm gonna go have a shower after this because I feel all dirty. Please join me on Thursday. We will continue the amazing mysteries of our bodies, what to do with it, and don't touch yourself, you'll go blind. Bye for now, everybody.